I'm going to teach you in this video the most natural and probably the easiest way to get that perfect iron impact. There's going to be, unfortunately, quite a few of you out there who've looked at your golf swing on video, on camera, and not seeing quite what you want to impact. You might have seen the hands too far back, you might have seen the arms kind of losing structure, you maybe don't take divots after the ball, the strike never really feels compressed and consistent. If any of that sounds like you, this is the video for you. You'll notice I've got an impact bag here. You can use something similar. You could use a cushion, you could use a bag, anything that's kind of fairly decent size. We'll talk about where it is in a moment and how to set it up, but what would we see from really good elite golfers? Well, if we use that bag as a reference, what we would tend to see, I've got 7-iron, is as they make a takeaway, they might clip that bag because of where I placed it. But on the way down, what we would see in their golf club is their golf club would be much narrower because they've got more weight on the lead side. So as they come into delivery, they would be miles away from that bag, nowhere near it. And because of that, it would naturally give them this forward shaft lean, giving them that compression, that ball turf contact that we really want to strive for. So they would be wider to narrower. If you're struggling, you might not see that. It would almost be common to see wide to wide. So yes, might clip the bag, but then you might clip it again on the way down. Or for really poor ball strikers, it might even be narrow going back through pulling the arms in and actually then wider on the way down and clipping the bag. But the pattern with the amateur game is the same. They'd be too wide approaching impact. And if you're too wide approaching impact, contact is never going to be easy. So I've got a couple of drills I'd love you to do. Now I've placed this bag, for me, just less than a 7-iron length away from me. Obviously, if you're using something different like a cushion or a bag, you need to sort of figure it out. But I basically set that up in a position where when I make my normal backswing, I clip the bag. I'm not trying to do anything different, I'm not trying to reach for it. That's just my normal backswing that would clip the bag. Drill number 1, take your setup. You're going to take your lead hand, that is not your lead hand, that's your trail hand. Take your trail hand, pop it onto your sort of chest and your shoulder. And what I really want you to feel straight away is that you're moving the club back through pushing this sort of shoulder and chest area back and down. That causes me to clip the bag. The key thing is this is driving that motion. The last thing I want you to do is make a movement like this, because that is really, really narrow. We'll come in a moment as to why that's going to be fairly detrimental. So we're going to start by pushing the shoulder down and back, which would cause you to clip the bag. Now, as soon as you've clipped the bag, you should still have a fair bit of width in that golf swing. You're then going to start to move your weight back towards the target. So obviously that would be in this direction. Because I move my weight back towards the target as the club is still moving away, we're going to create very naturally some lag. It would be very much as if we did this. If we moved this together and then started one before the other, there's a natural lag there. So watch what happens when I do that. I push and start my weight back. We get this. So we push, start forward, we get this. So now, I'm going to do this obviously slow motion. If I continue to turn, look where that club is relative to the bag. Nowhere near it. So where is my club going to land? It's going to land over here somewhere. That is the first exercise. Notice I'm not hitting a ball here. So it would look like this. We go push, land, push, land, push, land. Now for many of that won't be that easy. It will feel a little bit like patting your head, rubbing your tummy. That's sequencing. Have a look at what sequencing does. Come over here. I wasn't hitting a golf ball, but I was setting up in line with this golf ball. So my club was starting here. Every one of those contacts that I've made was target side of that golf ball. Now in that drill, it doesn't need to be exactly where it needs to be ultimately, but it needs to be forward of where I set up. That tells me that I've done what I needed to do, which was basically narrow my arc, move my low point further forward. So in that I had hands forward, I had low point target side of the ball, I would have had a negative attack angle, I had nice lag, but at no point did I think of any of those things. All I really did was started my golf swing away in the correct fashion, and I had good sequencing. Now all of those things will create lag, provided your connection to the golf club is allowing that. Okay, watch what happens if I grip this club as tight as I can, and I'm going to lock my arm in place. Doesn't look the same, does it? We have to allow that sequence of events to create the lag. So your grip pressure, your wrists need to be fluid to allow you to do that. That's the first little exercise I'd love you to do. Then what we can start to do is hit some shots. But we're going to introduce both hands and we're going to introduce a little bit of foot movement in this. So I'm going to go feet together. Club is going to start target side of the ball. And I'm going to step and make my takeaway. So I step, make my takeaway. Clearly I'm hitting the bag, but I'm still feeling that this lead shoulder is driving that movement. Step, hit the bag. Oop, missed it that time. Step, hit the bag. Once I've gone past the bag, I'm then going to step forwards and land the club. Now I will hit a ball doing this in a moment, but let's go ahead and do it without a ball to begin with. Forwards, we go step, hit, step, swing. You can do this back garden. You can do this anywhere. It's such an easy drill to do and one which you can just practice and practice and practice until it feels more comfortable. Club starts forward, we step, we swing, we step, we hit. Okay, and I mean that's only gone 30, 40 yards, but I struck it. I struck it really, really well. And the beauty with that is I know that would have been a pretty good impact. Handle forwards, weight forwards, but it was a flowing motion. I never thought about impact. And that's the beauty of this little exercise, because as soon as you start to think about a moment in time and a position, you can get fixated on that position. What we're doing here is looking at a sequence of events and a drill which keeps the movement flowing, keeps your pressure moving, creates the lag, gives you that impact, gives you that strike. I love this little exercise. Yes, you have to get a little bit creative and figure out what you can use here. It could be a bag towel, something like that, but just having that little reference point of I hit it, I miss it is so, so key. So right at the start, I said there was a really key movement, and we spoke a little bit about that first movement away in the shoulder. And I said that so many golfers are going to get narrow. Why is that such an issue? Well, try this. I'd love you to do this. You can do this anyway. You don't need to hit a golf ball. What happens if we get narrow early on? When I say narrow, I basically mean the hands getting too close to the body, the club getting too close to the body. We feel and sense that. It feels narrow. It doesn't feel powerful. It feels weak. So we start to create room. We start to push the club away from our body. We start to use our wrists. Now, what happens there is there's a movement which that causes. It's almost like a counter movement. Your weight is going to go up and back. You can try this. So as I go to the top, I'm going to go pretty narrow. As I start to throw that club almost as aggressively as I can back and down towards the ground, you can see using my wrists this way. This is me feeling like I'm creating width. It feels powerful. Watch what it does to my body and my weight. It forces me back and up. It does, it naturally happens. You know, it's the same as if we did this with the club. If I push the club down, the grip is going to go the opposite direction. So when we get golfers who are very, very narrow early on and they try and create the power, guess what? They're wide, their weight is back, their impact is going to look really, really poor. They can't get through the ball. And no matter how often they try and get the weight forward, they can't do it because they're working against forces that they can't overpower. What this drill is teaching you is it's teaching that lag, that perfect impact comes from wide and then a good sequencing into the lead side. Straight away, I get that narrowing motion of the golf swing. I get the club closer to me. I get that nice steeper approach into the golf ball. I think we can agree that was a negative attack angle, huge divot. You can see there over -5 in terms of the attack angle. That felt fantastic because the sequencing was good, impact was good, but we don't have to think about the impact to get the perfect impact.